What's good? So we're in a trade position. I'll go through a breakdown in a little while here, utilizing momentum. Now this is a breakdown. We're risk off of the table here, which is perfect. That's absolutely amazing to see. Price action on the 4 hour gave you a really good opening. Your previous 4 hour counter gave you a closure above the range, supporting what our decision and narrative is overall for the daily time frame, which is a retest of those highs. We're not being very aspirational with the take profit right now. You've just reached a satisfaction, is that even a word, of a 1-to-1. So you're 136, that's a break of the previous 4 hour highs. You're expecting a little bit more momentum to drive you up. However, if you look on the lower time frames, you don't have bottom wicks, which is a little bit of a slight concern for me. And there is a consideration to potentially trail stops when you get structure. Right now you don't have structure, we're risk free, so there's nothing else I can do apart from wait for price action to play out to basically what our desired TP is. But when you look at the narrative on the charts, whenever you see price action come rejecting from this area, price action should continue to push up. You're already risk free, and we understood that if price action wants to reject, this is the point you want to reject at. But we want the full range based off the higher time frame. So I think for me that this is a pretty decent level. This is, you've already got risk off, so this is the first rejection point here at 45.91. And I don't really want to secure right now. I want to wait for full take profit. We can utilize momentum on the day here. Currently peaked 170 ticks on price, floating 635 as you're starting to get rejections. So you've got 1 more minute left on the 5 minute time frame. Yeah, that isn't fantastic. If the one can flip bullish and break the highs, that's even better. But for the time being, we're just gonna have to wait. Really, really solid price action though. So if we can get structure being created, that's perfect. If you get the rejection, you get the rejection. I have to just sit back on the charts and say, look, we peaked 170 on the trade, but we're at break even. We just got to follow the plan. And is that a little bit too greedy of me to go up to these levels? No, not necessarily. You've already created the bottom weight that we expected. You rebroke the previous hour lows. So my anticipation on price action is for price to continue pushing up, right? If your 30-minute can clear these highs, candle gives you closures above these highs, above these levels, perfect. Then you're still looking for bullish momentum. You want to take full advantage of the drive. I understand that this is your first TP, 4592, but what can I do? I can't secure anything right now because my plan is a 1-to-2 risk to reward ratio to get this damn evaluation out of the way. And the strategy that I have currently developed doesn't allow me to take partials right now. That's a plan for when we can scale. But for the time being, we're just focusing on the actual execution, taking a 1-to-2 risk to reward ratio and holding out on it. Because so far in my career, I've had struggles where I just secure profits right here and price action rallies up. There obviously will be some times where price action gives you bearish structure. Then you can look to dynamically manage if that is correct. But for the time being, we haven't really been given any confirmation. You'd still need structure. So price action actually giving you a pullback here makes sense for price structure to correct. You've got rebreak of the lows here in the previous 5 for then a wick for rebreak of the highs. That makes even more sense. That's better. So we're just waiting for structure to play out. If that happens to come down to your break-even level here, then it will happen to come down to your break-even, because we do note and acknowledge that the 15 current time frame doesn't have a bottom wick. We can illustrate that it's still bullish behavior, but there is no promises that price action still needs to regrab and retest a bottom wick to come back down. So that's why we're risk off the table, because we don't want to unnecessarily get into drawdown when you're already 170 ticks in profit. So now we just have to wait and be patient on price action, and we'll just come back and see when we can get an update, whether that be a break even, whether that be full TP, whether we break the highs, whether we manage, whether we trail, whatever it is, we'll come back and have a little look at it. All right, so you just got 30 candle open, it's 3:30 London time. And if we just break down price, so it's 10:30 New York. 30's giving you candle open. Let's just get that on the charts real quick and make sure you can see my lovely face. Right, so 30 has given you a okay closure. You've given us a closure above. We'll take it. You want rebreak of the highs, then you'll be looking at trail stops to the break of the lows on the 30, because you're looking to just secure at this point. Price action is expected to push up. You haven't really given me a very big bottom wick, but you have given me a respect of the nearest resistance. And this is a classic pattern. If you rebreak the highs, challenge these highs, you should get the wick fill on the 30. You shouldn't be expected to retest and get more liquidity at this area. Therefore, it makes a valid sense to trail your stop loss to that area which again, I'm going to have to try and do. I haven't really had much experience trailing stops on this platform, so fingers crossed it works. That will put you at around about a 40 to 50 tick. That was a bit lazy of me. About what? 37 ticks of profits secured in this trade position, which again isn't fantastic, but you're looking at around 160 bucks being secured. That's your 15 coming up to wick break the highs 2, 30 coming up to wick break the highs 2. You're still utilizing momentum on the 1, and you're still utilizing momentum on the 4-hour time frame. Remember what the agenda was. The key narrative that we were developing was price action continues to rise up, predominantly to the full area here, but we don't have as much liquidity as before. So let's see, you've challenged the highs, but you haven't broken it. So if price action comes back down to re-break that low, you're most likely going to see break even anyway. To be honest, you're validated to take the re-break of the low as a trial stop loss right now. 2.5 minutes left on the 5. So we'll just give it some time and then I'll come back if we end up moving stops or not. I'm a fan of the 5 right now. I mean, if the 5 breaks the lows, then kind of chopped. But I work on closures. I want to see a wick break at a high, which if you don't get, you don't get. But it's a pretty good trade, honestly. Pretty good setup with the placements of everything. It would be safer just to have a full target here, but then you're what, 1-to-1, not 1-to-2. The reason it made sense to take this trade position was because your 4-hour opened up bottom wick, 1 hour opened up bottom wick, rebreak the previous low. You're looking at rebreak at highs. Rebreak at the highs on the 30 was a textbook play. So as price action rebreaks, you're going to get the wick fill, advantage point, rebreak at the highs, and price continues to challenge. It's a perfect textbook, valid A+ setup for me. And I'm happy with it. So you're more than halfway through the hour candle. I'd really want to see a break of those highs. If we can get that, that'd be fantastic. A minute left, a minute and a half left on the 5. A lot can change in this minute. So what's the lower time frame? Yeah, lower time frame, shit. That will probably come back down. But I can't manage the position until we can get that closure below. So we will see. All right, looking at the way price is moving, this is a resistance level here, right? You haven't quite given me the wick fill. If price on the 1 can keep pushing up, that's even fantastic here, but we've already met the minimum requirement. You got 5-minute top wick, broke the highs. You're looking at full wick fill. I want to move my stop. How do I do this? Pick it and move it to the break of those lows right there. So there's my stops. We're not going to touch it anymore. You're securing profits no matter what. And we're just going to see what price does. If we can break the highs, fabulous. That's what we want to see. You want to see rebreak at the highs. And you don't want to see no candle wick closures like this. That looks ass right there. Not a fan of that. You need to rebreak the highs. You need to pop up and give me an accelerating candle. Otherwise, that is now a resistance for price action to start pushing you down. And that is the reason why I've got a trailing stop loss towards these lows. Although there is possibility that price action can come down to grab a wick to then rebreak the highs, I doubt you're going to do it in 6 minutes, and I doubt you're going to do it on the 30, because if the 30 flips you bearish, you're probably going to come back down before seeing a proper buy up. And I don't want to be interested in that, because that's a whole nother trading opportunity that we can look to break down if we really needed to. So we'll just go ahead and wait to see what price does here. Break the highs in a minute. Fantastic. If not, then, well, fuck. We just got to wait. You're sitting in profits anyway, so we just got to wait and see. Just got to wait and see. Yeah, trailing stops is set. We know that. And now we just got to wait on price. Currently floating 725, 730, 740 up on a day. But again, that is unrealized profit. We can only say what we've got, what we've caught from the day once the trade has played out in our plan. So just wait and see, stay calm, pretty straightforward, pretty simple, very, very simple A+ setup that we've taken here. And we're just going to rely on the rules, rely on our trading plan to play out to either a full take profit, which by the way, I still haven't gotten a full take profit in this entire trading challenge. Maybe today's the day, or we might get stopped out with the trail stops at 45.79. We'll wait and see. Yeah, mate, this shit right here, that's ass. This thing, I'd probably close out here, bro. Like, it actually looks really horrible. It looks really, really horrible because price action has a bigger chance of coming down. That also means your 15 time frame will close you body of the candle wick below the previous candle high, resulting in a break even, or resulting in this trailed stops getting hit. I can tell what price wants to do, but I just gotta follow the plan, I guess. Though it's only the 1 minute time frame that's giving you the resistance so far. That's probably going to give you a pretty strong rejection down, and the 5 time frame is going to do the same thing. Yeah, bro, nice try, but I think we're probably going to see a trail stop loss here, and we'll wait and see. All right, man. So, I mean, in terms of probabilities, the 15 is giving you candle closure, and it's giving you candle closure like this. So, although when you re-break the highs, there's a chance you might get momentum to drive you up, it's very slim because if you build a narrative across the 15 and the 30, it increases the chance of the 30 coming down to re-break the lows. And that is also going to be where your trailing stops is. So it is what it is, but we follow the plan. Fantastic trade execution. We acted upon the plan. We floated profits, and it could just be maybe a consideration of where we're placing our targets because we understood that this is the first area of rejection. But then again, we need to kind of go back to the drawing board about if we're looking at these targets, then how are you going to get a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio? What kind of setup are you looking for a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio to actually make sense, right? So for me, fantastic opportunity, fantastic plan that we've followed, by the way. Your 5 minute time frame closed, no bottom wick. So yeah, you might have a chance to re-break these highs and pop up and retest the highs again. But if you look on the higher time frame, it doesn't look like that is going to happen. It looks like you're going to come back down. You're going to be securing around about 40 ticks. That's put that around like 170 something to $200, which will put the account up a little bit, but not by much. So yeah, fantastic trading day. Only one trade. And it's already getting pretty late, 3:47. We might see if things can play out on the 1 hour time frame because the 1 hour is 12 minutes left. If you close you bullish, come back down to re-break the lows, there could be potential to continue the push up on the 4 hour time frame. But for the time being, I've got no interest in that until we are out of this trading position, which will most likely be a trailed stops here. We're blessed. We're blessed to be coming out with a secured profit for sure. But again, the ultimate goal is to get a full take profit, which we still haven't yet gotten in this phase. All right, so we're about to get stopped out. One thing I want to note here now is, what the fuck? One thing I want to note here now, wait a second, is if price is going to give us the liquidity to then continue the push up, right? So we're about to get trailed out. We should actually be stopped out already. There we go. Stopped out the trade position. Realized profit today is 190. So, fuck, man. Let's see what happens here. Your original entry was re-breaking higher, so we can see if we're going to come back to that original break-even level or not. But what we originally wanted on price played out. It's a little bit unfortunate that we got stopped out here on trailed. There is still potential for price action to just shoot up and continue breaking the highs, but it's pretty much a long shot here. You've got 10 minutes left until the hour. But yeah, I think we'll call it because that's your 30 now satisfying a bottom wick. 15-minute time frame coming down. Could we break the highs? Possible. 5 time frame. The 5 time frame actually looks really decent to continue to push up. I would prefer if you had a re-break of the lows first. I think the lower time frame, yeah, does have potential for a range. It's just the 15 and the way the 30 sits doesn't sit right with me. That's why we trailed stops in the first place. It's because you failed to get like what you actually wanted. You did get the wick fill, but you didn't get the drive. So we came out with a really, really good trade position. And again, if price doesn't come to your stop loss and continues to push up on the lower time frame, is there potential to consider removing a trail stop loss feature to just a break even, or do you want to keep it again, this is only based off of one piece of data. So you'd really have to sit back and think about how you want to adapt and how you want to use your risk and utilize securing profits, since I don't have partials integrated into my system yet. Holy shit, that actually might be, fuck, that actually might be a really, really fantastic opportunity right there. So if we hadn't trailed, but we're out for the day. I'll log it, come back, and we'll see what price action does tonight, if we can get that proper outcome or not. Okay, we are back. It's currently 8:26 p.m. and price action on the outcome of the trade would have been a stopped loss hit had we not gone break even, or had we not trailed the stop loss. We would have come out with a minus 128 tick stop, 131 tick stop. So what I depicted on the 15 and the 30 time frame shifting by losing momentum, that's already a key indication, and we already acknowledged that the first 1 hour time frame opportunity to reject is at 45.91, which it actually did that pretty beautifully. So as price action started to re-break the lows, the 15-minute time frame gave you indication you're losing momentum and you're starting to come down. There is actually opportunity for 4-hour candle sells to re-challenge your daily lows and re-break the daily lows to come down and refill and retest the liquidity area that we wanted towards 45.39. Now, you re-broke the previous 4-hour highs. That validates the break of the lows to come down. That also means that the hour time frame should do the same thing, but what has the hour candle given you the closure? They've given you the closure respecting as resistance by closing below the support area that we originally wanted, but the body of the candle has closed above the previous wick low, which typically indicates no matter what happens on this candle, if you re-break those highs, price action can continue to re-challenge the highs. That's a bit too risky. My time frame alignment and narrative developed for this session was originally for the buys up at the support area, and unfortunately we attempted for it and we didn't get it. The buys for today was not sells. And matter of fact, if you look at the stats that we have on the charts, in the statistics, if you look at every single sell, we've come out, okay, you've got, 10 ticks on this sell, and the sell here came out as a break even. We've not yet had a proper like sell type of day where we get a good runner. I'm going to be honest. It's really weird because I was also reflecting on the statistics from last year, and last year I was predominantly doing sells. So it's quite interesting to see that you're 5 months into the year and I've only literally just been buying since March. So pretty interesting here. I think I can see the buys a little bit better than the sells. I think sells are, yeah, for me, I just don't see it the same anymore. I only see the buys, especially when you zoom out on the charts. I mean, now, yes, there's potential for sells, but the market has been so unpredictable. It's been really challenging. That about wraps up the session. I will say this. I want to give my thoughts on the current journey that I'm in. It is extremely frustrating because every single day that you want to show up to the charts, you want to get paid. However, it's a process. This is an evaluation phase. I'm not even getting paid for the work that I'm doing. I'm not even getting paid for the trades that I take. I'm simply trying to pass the evaluation to get to the funded stage, to then pass the funded stage, meet the consistency rule, meet the profit split, to then get your payout. It's a grueling process for sure, but I think it's one that when I endure and come out of it on the right side, it will provide me with so much more insight. Because for me, the current challenge now is psychology. I know that we can execute the system. You've seen me execute the system. You've seen me stick to the plan. We didn't deviate away from it. We trailed the stops to manage the risk and to actually come out with something of some profit, and we did. We came out with 38 ticks today, $190 up, and that brought us, I think, an extra 4% up on the progress of my challenge. So we are currently sitting at 57% through to the evaluation, and we're up 3.4% out of the 6%. So we're more than halfway there, which I am happy about. I will say, it's just time. If I can just take the time aspect out of it and not set any deadlines, not set any pressure on it, then this will work out. I know it will work out. It's a matter of time. You know, right now we're just surviving, and we just have to focus and maintain focus. Right now, what I'm doing is temporary to live on, but this is permanent, right? You want to make sure that you protect all of the focus and the discipline of the charts to make sure that this works, because when you can limit the amount of avoidable mistakes through your manipulation in your head, the psychology, the demons that you fight, every single trader has to go through this. When you can understand how to phase those out and just have pure discipline and focus on the charts and have a clean working environment, for sure, we're going to have a very clean chart, a very clean breakdown, a very clean execution, and very clear data. That's why I journal so specifically. The break of the highs, the breakouts. What kind of play am I taking? Is it a rebreak of the high? Am I utilizing momentum? What is it? And why do I log it for myself? Not just for you to see how I break down the charts, but it's for me to see how I think when I execute the trade position. Am I actually following my plan? So this, consider it a digital journal for me to look at the trades that I take. And it's providing me a lot of value over the course of however long I've been uploading publicly. And I've got a lot more private content too since 2024, 2025. So that about does it for the day, honestly. Now we're going to reset the charts, come back tomorrow for London and see what happens on the charts. Honestly, the way the daily's looking now, you could either have a potential range back up and reverse the entire day, or you will have continuation down on the rebreak of the lows, the daily time frame. Honestly, there's not even a clear direction. You broke the lows before. This could just be a challenge back to the lows here before you have another pivotal point. And tomorrow you do have high impact news. I think tomorrow is it PMI or ISM? Something of that nature. I don't even have the calendar up. Let's go to the calendar then. What do we have for, what am I even looking at? The 5th is PMI, S&P PMI, your red folder is PMI for ISM, okay. And that's coming out at 2:45 and 3 p.m. So we've got time on the charts tomorrow. But that about does it. 38 ticks up on the day. Not what we wanted in terms of the actual targets that we set, but we've come out winning, we've come out surviving, and that's what matters in the game. Is you always have to protect the capital. It would be foolish for me to not have gone break even at this point when we understood that, one, you've hit the first rejection point on the hour time frame, and two, when you look at the lower time frame and you're starting to create this structure, you're still creating some form of resistance. And when you finally got that 5 and the 15 opening up with a top wick first to wick fill and challenge the highs, without a bottom wick, you already know that the probability of price coming back down to test this range minimum is going to be very probable. And being the break-even risk-off area is very close to your original entry point, the chances of a break-even is very high. So you may as well trail your stops to at least secure something out of the position opportunity to at least make it pay and contribute towards the progression of the evaluation. So I hope you found value from this. It's provided me a lot of value for Monday the 4th. Happy. We come back again tomorrow and we just treat it day by day. Remember, the only thing that applies pressure to this is the fact that it takes a long time. So you can do external things outside of the charts to supplement income, savings, or just spend less. Just do less things. And also treat this as its own, right? Everything else that you do in your life is a direct reflection of your charts. You go to the gym to train, to better yourself, to have a better discipline, challenge mind. So when you come to the charts, you can do the same thing. And when you have a lifestyle that is more fun and more fulfilling, then you will have less urges to make this really work if you're content with your life. So just think of it that way. Put your skills into something else, and also have many things to do, because when you're bored on the charts and you've got nothing else to do, what will you do? You'll end up just over trading. Whereas if you know that your time is up, you know that you've come out of one position, there's nothing much else that I want to take. We understand that we're biases, not sells. I'm done on the charts. Let's go do something else. For me, either practice the piano, talk to my girlfriend, write a journal, fill out any of the logs, or even work on, for me, learning Chinese. So do any of the things that make you feel happy, but also make sure that you have the time allocated and identify when is the right time to step on the charts, to focus on the charts, and when is the right time to step off of the charts. For Monday, we had a bank holiday for London session. I think New York had a pretty decent result, and I'm pretty happy with it. So we'll wrap it up, and I'll see you tomorrow.